to bring transparency of what are we working on, what are we thinking about working in the future. And as I usually say, the most important piece is to create a space so I can hear from you, so I can see what's going on from your side, things that you're seeing in the fan-based community and outside of it, and get any type of feedback. All right. So with that said, let's get started. Like I mentioned, we have a holiday today, but the team is committed to continue working and releasing. Today, we actually started a new sprint, which is sprint 121. And that means that we finish sprint 120, which means that, yes, we do have a release, but we're still waiting for Google Play approval. So because we don't have the Android version approved yet, we're going to have to wait just a little bit. Okay. So for sure, by Monday, you're going to have a brand new release. The version is going to be 4.6.0. Okay. And it's going to have, as we've been doing in the past, probably 3 to 4 sprints, a lot of ironing out and bug fixing, which is exciting. We actually look at our insights this morning in our kickoff call, and we are close to even 80% of our backlog being clean and fixed. That's great, great news. Hopefully, you guys are not starting to notice a lot of the things that, while there were no showstoppers, there were issues to start getting resolved. I do always want to remind everyone that a group of those issues, a lot of times, it's better to refactor them or rethink the functionality rather than just patch it, right? So when I talk about almost 80% of the backlog being fixed, I mean that those were actually issues that were reported, that we identify, and they were deemed necessary to just fix them right away rather than rethink the functionality and so on. There's other ones that I'm going to mention briefly where we're going to be refactoring it. And when we refactor, that means not only fixing issues, but also improving a lot of areas about that functionality. Okay. So I'm super excited with the progress that we made so far. I mentioned this probably at the beginning of this year, where I told everyone saying, hey guys, we're going through a foundational phase where it might not be, or it might not sound super exciting and entertaining in the sense that we're not releasing features, but we are doing foundational work that is needed to bring Fanbase to the right level that we want to bring it. Okay. So again, release 4.6, we're expecting that to be live by Monday. We're just waiting on Google to approve it. But this morning, we actually did an API release. Let me explain you a little bit how the releases works at Fanbase, okay? But let me backtrack first and remind you when I talk about the development team, the engineering team, what do I mean by that? Okay, so our entire product team is composed of amazing people that have different skill sets. Okay, so let's start with what we call the product team. We have a product owner, okay, which you guys, or most of you guys, met probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. Um, we have our business analyst who help define all the requirements and refine all the requirements and document everything. Then we have our UX UI team that along the business analyst and the product owner are part of the product team. And they actually prototype everything to make sure that the UX experience and the UI interface is as good as it can get. And all of that is put together before we give it to development, okay? And we also have our Scrum Master who does an amazing job in keeping the wheels turning and make sure that everything is on time and in the right way, okay? So we've been investing a lot in our product team. We've been growing it because we're big believers that taking the right time and having the right information and data in your hands before you put down the first line of code is something super important. So while it seems that it might slow things down, it actually is going to allow us to speed things up. Okay. We presented our entire roadmap this week until the end of the year, which is exciting. For those that have been with us, you know that we went from road mapping week by week to road mapping month by month, and then doing quarterly. And here we are road mapping all the way until the end of the year. So we are getting better as a team in planning, and the product team is a big part of that. Then we have our development team that are basically our engineers, right? And we have different um, skill sets there as well. We have our iOS team who works on the iOS the iOS version, the front end. Then we have our Android, who obviously works on the Android, and then we have web. We've been working a lot on web, and we've been developing web for about a year now. And then we have the backend. Backend team is basically everyone that works on those instructions that the front end web, iOS, and Android gets. And then we have our QA team that tests everything and works along development to make sure that we can not only manually test, but also automate a lot of those tests to get better and better. I do consider our amazing tech support as also part of our development team because they're very well connected and they're our source of feedback as well. So a shout out to them. So with all of that said, when we do releases, we do four types of releases, right? But they're all aligned because when we build features and when we fix things, we do it across all platforms. We were talking about it actually this Monday or last Friday. I can't remember quite yet, but we asked ourselves, is Fanbase just an application? And the answer is no. Fanbase is an ecosystem that allows anyone to make money out of their content anywhere in the world. And the reason why we say it's an ecosystem is because we're not just an app, right? We have a fan-based web. We are going to, as we build features, start building fan-based products as well that will be part of the fan-based app as well. So with that said, we have an Android release, we have an iOS release, then we have what we call an API release, which is the backend release, and then we have a web release. Okay, so today we actually release the API, the backend, which will fix a lot of issues that are only backend. But also with that, the backend team has been working on extending our moderation system. We have a brand new moderation system that we deployed this year, which we're very excited about, to work with live streams as well. Why is that good news? Is because with time, we are going to be able to give even more and more visibility to live streams as well. So today, even though we don't have the app releases yet, because that's going to probably happen on Monday, we do have the backend release. So you will start noticing some changes and improvements within the fan-based ecosystem as well. All right. So I always like to, for some of you, this might be obvious. You might know this information, but I always like to share this information because you know what? When Meta was created and when they were growing and when TikTok came, none of us had access to this type of information. All of these things, all of the good and not so good happen behind doors, and they obviously turn the company what they are. But I do see value in everyone seeing and having transparency on our journey. And part of our journey is seeing how we're growing as a team as well. Probably a lot of you that have been coming to my audio rooms from 2 years ago, I'm hoping that you're noticing the difference on how not only Fanbase is growing as a platform and ecosystem, but also we are growing as a team and we're improving our practices, how we do things, and the decisions that we make as well. So that's why I want to always take the time to be here and maybe over explain some of these things because I do feel like it gives value to you as a user, as a creator. All right. So um, with all of that said, um, that's where we are as far as Sprint 120. Okay, so be on the lookout for version 4.6. It's coming, I would say, worst case Monday. But we have a new release and we're going to continue advancing. Before going into Sprint 121 and tell you what are we working on, which I am also super excited, let's take a little break and let's see what's going on in the chat room, see if you guys have any questions. and we'll go from there. All right. I'm going to start from the top, so make sure I don't miss any questions. What's going on, guys? Happy Juneteenth. Hope everyone's doing well. What's up? What's up? Um, all right. Oh, Nolan, are you seeing some noise? I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I'm actually working from home today, so you might hear some background. I'm not using my usual AirPod Max. I'm using my AirPod Pro. So, all right, let's see what else we have. Someone asked, what role did Lauren have with Meta, Rama? So she was actually a product manager, and she was responsible for bringing stories and reels into Facebook at the time. Where when I don't know if you remember, Instagram basically said, you know what, we need to do the same thing in Facebook, and they started transitioning a lot of that functionality. So Lauren was involved in that, and it was, it's always interesting to hear how they operate over there as well. And there's a lot of things that makes us feel good about it. Someone asked Spring. So let me explain that. Thanks for that question. Let me give some love to that because that's a good question. So a sprint, it's basically what we call the grouping of 2 weeks where we develop. So we call those development sprints, right? Sprints more than anything came because of the Scrum methodology. It's a name. We do run like sprints, but basically what we do is we say, okay, in the next 2 weeks, what do we want to achieve in these sprints? What will the release have that will give value to our fan base community and our creators? And that's why we divide those in sprints. It allows us to be organized. It allows us to set objectives in short um, terms and long terms as well. But it's a very common nomenclature in the development world. All right. I see some of you saying welcome to new users. Definitely, we're always welcoming new users. Happy to have you guys here. Oh, I see Joyce say RTMP. We have not forgotten about RTMP, believe me. Oh, believe me. When Fanbase QR code stickers will be available? So let me talk a little bit about that. So I like QR codes. I'm not gonna say I don't like them, but today in Fanbase, each one of you have your unique links where anytime you share any of your content or your profile, uh, that's unique to you, and we actually track all the activity that comes from that link as well. Eventually and slowly, we're starting to roll out that information to you. In fact, some of you may be here. We're doing a pilot right now where we are doing, I believe it's monthly email campaigns where we give you your performance as a creator. How many users have come to Fanbase because of X amount, X source or X activity, and all of that is because each one of you have a unique link that enables us to track and when you share. Now, turning that into a QR code for you to have is not hard to do, to be honest. It's just we haven't contemplated that in the Roma quite yet because we need to go through the foundational work, and there's a few other things that I'm going to talk about that I think are as important. Okay. Let me see. Ooh, look at Danny Marie explaining the sprint. I like it. You guys are, after listening to me, you guys are becoming more experts than I am. All right. Let me see. So I'm giving some loves to some of these comments. Um, Updates are good. It marks the progress and development of not just an app, but a community. Amen. 100%. I love that. And that's really what it is, right? It's not just a question of just fixing, um, issues just because they're there. We want to definitely make it so easy to build community and to monetize. And sometimes you got to start from the basics. So, all right. So we just finished sprint 120, correct? And if you think about it, they're 2 week sprints. So that means that we've been developing for 240 weeks nonstop. But that's just since we raised our first dollar. But we were developing in beta mode before then. So it's more than 240 weeks developing. Um, we came a long way. We still have a long way to go, but we should be proud of that. All right. I see some of you talking about Spark. We haven't forgotten about Spark, guys. I'm hoping we're gonna get there. Let me see. One question I have is, will you make an option to opt out of notifications when friends goes to audio rooms? Yes. Let's talk a little bit about notifications. Thanks for asking that. Okay. Sometimes you guys ask me the right questions so I can go into topics that I was going to cover. So we are starting sprint 121. And the good news is that we're getting to you. We will never stop fixing issues. That's something that exists in every single platform, no matter how big and good they are. Okay. But we are getting to the end of the cleaning and finishing our objective of the backlog. We set ourselves as an OKR, as an objective this quarter to solve at least 70% of the issues present in the backlog, and we are close to 80. So we're almost done with that. So next sprint, or this sprint that we started, sorry, we're starting to actually work on features, okay, and refactoring and improving some of these features, okay. I'm going to start with notifications because someone asked that question. Can we select if we don't want to see when or see a notification when someone goes into the audio room? Notifications, the way we've been building it, just like we build a lot of fan bases, we've been growing, and as we've been growing, we've been bringing feature after feature. And sometimes it gets to a point where you got to take a step back and say, you know what, it works, but it doesn't work in the best way, and also is not as scalable as it could be, right? And notifications is an example. We built Flix, and then we build notifications for Flix. We built Fanbase Plus, and we build notifications for Fanbase Plus. So now is the time where we need to refactor, and with the refactor comes a lot of improvements for you as a user. Number one is we're going to improve and standardize messaging across the entire board with notifications. You might think that it's small and simple, but it's not. We actually have been growing our product marketing team. We have a new product marketing manager that I'm hoping you're going to meet soon, because we actually want even our messaging to reflect what fan base is about. And that's important, how we present things, how we say things, right? So notifications will have a more standardized and better messaging. We are going to have a better speed of delivery for notifications. Why is that important? Well, in live experiences, it's super important because let's say that you start an audio room or a live stream, and in the first 30 seconds, you are dropping the best things that can make you monetize, but the notifications take about a minute for you to get all your followers into your live experience. Then that's a problem, right? So seconds matters when you come to monetizing. So these refactor notifications will allow us to improve the speed of delivery as we see a lot of creators growing, getting into the thousands, the tens of thousands. One promise we made ourselves is that we will never ever shadow ban notifications or anything. If you have X amount of followers, you're guaranteed that every single person will be able to see your content, and will be able to get notified. And to do that, it requires refactors like this for speed of delivery. There's also other layers that will give us more opportunity in the future. And one of those, once we do that initial refactor, is that we are going to be able to give you a full customization of your notification experience. Today in Fanbase, you can go to your profile, settings, and then in settings, you can disable notifications, but they're a little bit generic. Like for example, you can disable all your audio notifications, right? But maybe you're like, you know what? I want to get all the notifications. I just don't want to get notifications from that creator or in that instance. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be extending that, and we are going to give you more freedom of choice on the notifications. So long-winded answer, but I think it's important because it's part of what we're starting to work in this sprint, notifications, but you will be able to have that. So thank you for that question, because you allow me to explain a little bit what we're going to be doing in this sprint that just started. All right, let's continue with some of these questions. I have a couple of questions. Number one, can we stream games on Fanbase. You can, okay? And I'll tell you how. Now, we want to expand that even beyond what we can do today. So we have this functionality called Watch Party. Unfortunately, today I didn't do a watch party, but usually on Thursdays I do a watch party. What is Watch Party? You can actually connect your stream in YouTube inside of Fanbase Audio. Okay. You can also connect any videos in YouTube as well. But in this case, because you ask about gaming, I can tell you that if you're streaming live on YouTube, all you got to do is grab that live link, you paste it, you create a watch party, you create another room, you create a watch party, you paste it, and you can stream live inside of Fanbase through Fanbase Audio. I've done it, it's so fun. And the great thing is that about a month ago, when Snoop Dogg did a release on Fanbase of his new album, we actually launched a watch party on web. So that means that it's not only limited to those that are inside the app, but now other ones can watch you play on web through Watch Party on web. Okay, so Watch Party is a great way for you to stream games on Fanbase without really having to reinvent the wheel. Now, we want to expand that. We want to be able to have more integrations on as far as streaming. And as I mentioned earlier, eventually we want to bring our own RTMP as well, so you can have a different experience within Fanbase. Okay, so I definitely encourage you to test out the watch party. There's no cost, and I guarantee you'll have a great time. And you can get also creative with the watch party as well. I've seen a lot of users that they start streaming through YouTube, but then they stream through StreamYard through other areas. But definitely, watch party is a great way to engage inside Fanbase. All right. Someone says, I have a question about the battery life and how soon that will be fixed. I think that will help a lot with the retention problem. Yes. So that's a great question. As we are solving issues by refactoring elements, okay? And thank you for that again, because now you allow me to talk about what we're also working on this sprint. So I talked about notifications, right? But we're also starting some what we call simplification work, where we are simplifying and improving three core areas inside Fanbase. One of them, and is the first one that we started working on this sprint, is the search. We're going to make the search of creators, users inside Fanbase, and eventually content a much simpler and easier way to do it, right? And as we do that, we're also considering all the different layers that adds up to how much energy and data your phone uses through Fanbase, right? The second area that we're going to be simplifying is the home feed. We're going to be improving that. And again, the home feed is one of the main and key areas where you consume content. When you consume content, we're talking about data, we're talking about memory, we're talking about power, all of it, right? So again, this is also an opportunity for us. And in fact, there were very clear instructions from the business analysts to the dev leadership saying, guys, we also need to consider data consumptions. Now, there will be limitations because it's very hard to create a very robust app without giving up some data consumption. But I am very confident that as we simplify these things, especially the home feed, we are going to be able to improve the data consumption, which per se will help with other phones and batteries. So the third one on the simplification that we're also going to start working is already refined. We're actually doing some creator and user research on that. Is the way you create content. We're going to be simplifying it and standardizing how you create content. Why does this has to do with the question that the Roscoe asked? Is because when you create content, how that content is consumed and how the content is uploaded also matters in how much data is being used in network and battery for your phone. Okay, so again, we're getting this chance as we simplify and improve the experience to also tackle all these other layers that will allow us to definitely give you a better experience. So we are aware of some of the devices having data problems because of the amount of space and amount of memory that it consumes, and we're definitely working on that. Okay. All right. Let's see what else. Okay. Well, Amira, I think it would be great. And invite them and come over next Thursday. And next Thursday, I'm going to do a watch party. I'm going to be in the office, and we can talk about the watch party and how creators that they do gaming can actually benefit and monetize from that. So, if you have within the streamer community, invite them over for next Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern time, and I would love to, do a walkthrough, watch party, and how would that, benefit you guys. All right, let's see. Ooh, I'm seeing someone dropping the scrum.org. I love that. We work under an agile methodology, which means that rather than take a very long time to bring value to our users, we try to define what is the quickest way we can give the best value to our users. And then we iterate with user feedback on top of that. That's the real concept of Scrum and Agile methodology, right? So we're not a waterfall. And that's why every 2 weeks, we can afford and we're able to have it released. There's not many companies out there that they have 2 week sprints and they can do this. And we've been refining this methodology for a very long time. We still have a lot to improve on, but we're definitely proud and we like the methodology. All right. Rama, when will you be able to live stream games from YouTube? I thought I answered that one already, but let me know if I didn't. Someone mentioned the race. Yes, we are making progress in the race. If you didn't know, Fanbase is also raising money. We're crowdfunding. We're not your usual VC-backed platform. We've been crowdfunded since day one, which we're very proud. And that allows us to have a very vibrant community of creators, users, and also investors that truly believe in Fanbase's mission. We're raising $17 million. If you go to startengine.com/fanbase, again, startengine.com/fanbase, you will be able to help us in this race. Let me go ahead and just pin the link in here. I always forget when people are like, where am I? Why did I But we are making progress. And everything that you hear in these audio rooms, it's basically a result of all these investments. We would not be able to grow our team and do the things that we do if it wasn't for our amazing investors and those who believed in us. So I want to say thank you. There you go. I just pinned the link. But definitely grateful for that. In fact, I remember in our first race, we were only iOS. We were a very small team. And our number one goal when we raced on the first race was to actually create the Android version. And not only we did that, but we also were able to catch up with um, Apple, an iOS version on Android, right? And again, all that thanks to the race. Let's see. Let's see. Can we make exclusive flicks? Ooh, I like this question. That's a 100 love question. We can. We definitely can. So let me tell you a little bit of the background behind the decision of not having exclusive in flicks. We used to have music in flicks, and we have a music roadmap. We want to bring music in Fanbase. Music, it goes beyond just bringing libraries into Fanbase. There's a lot of um, deals that you gotta do with the publishers, the labels. We're very lucky to have one of the top music advisors in the industry, Bill Campbell. He actually was the one who helped TikTok get to the point where they go with music. And at the time, we used to have music in Flix. And the partner that we were using to do that, we decided that it wasn't the right fit at the time and we took it out. Now, at the time when we had music, one of the rules from the music publishers was that if you are putting Inflix music behind a paywall, then you have to do a completely different deal. And at the time, it just didn't make sense for us financially. But I don't discard that in the future, as we bring music the way we want to bring it, we will be able to do exclusive. So it was a decision, um, and we're hoping to bring that in the future. All right, let's see, Gary. When gamify, we actually do have a gamification functionality, but I brought it up to the marketing team on my one-on-one yesterday. And I think we're going to start exploring that again because I think everyone in Fanbase believes in the gamification. It's just we want to make sure that that effort is done properly and it's a robust effort. So they're just taking the steps to analyze it before they start using it again. Let me see. Rama, a birdie told me that the other app, Blue Sky can remove bitter Twitter and add Rumble. Oh, okay. Okay, integrate Blue Sky. Okay, interesting. Let's see. Notifications for when folks join the room that can be toggled off and that will be great. Yeah, I mentioned that's going to come as well. Someone says you can stream games using OBS and BlueStacks. Yep, I've done that through YouTube as well. Yeah, our TMP is coming. So once we have that, you got to have stream keys. Um, Someone says, Rama, I would love a feature for subscribers to complete an exit interview when they want to cancel their subscription. We like that. Yeah, definitely. We're talking about our subscription flow and what things can we do to support that subscription journey because it's not that simple. Now, the creator has a lot of responsibility when it comes to subscription retention, right? But as a platform, we also have a big responsibility, and we're constantly saying, okay, where can we assist in that subscription journey for retention, right? And definitely for you as a creator to understand why they're not subscribing to you anymore, why they're canceling it is super critical. And in fact, we did have a survey going on that, but we haven't formalized it or automated that. But I love that idea. And I think as we grow as a team, we're going to continue bringing ways to support the subscription journey. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. Great questions, guys. I love everything that you're bringing. Can we get accept all delete all for DMs? Kimi, I'm not sure I understood that question. Can we get accept all deletes all for DM? If you can maybe give me more background, I'll be glad to answer that. Someone said, please explain me how Spark will improve Fanbase. It's a great question. It's a pretty deep question for a different type of conversation and a longer conversation. But I still want to address it partially. And I say partially because, again, there's so much into it. But there's no doubt that there is a need out there. Creator burnout, it's for real. And the burnout can happen for a lot of reasons. The fact that you got to be constantly creating content through multiple platforms to, monetize. And a lot of creators don't even monetize today still. Creator burnout is because it just takes a very long time to create content and be consistent. And as we grow, um, we want Fanbase to be a community that can be monetized throughout. And a lot of times, building that community and part of giving value to a community is allowing them to solve that pain point of having a burnout. So we do see value. I can't share too much details because we're actually analyzing how we would bring something like Spark differently, because it's not just a question of bringing the functionality, because that's not the hard part. But we do see the value of giving a different type of content creation or content format for those that want to experience a different type of community. You have those that they just like to read text-based and read a lot of them in a very short time period and then move on. And then you have those that like to consume short video format, right? So as we grow, having a one place where creators can truly monetize from day one also involves giving different tools that can help them do that. And I think Spark can do that too. Joyce, I think I just answered your question on the battery. Hopefully you heard me that part. Let me see what else we have here. Choo, choo. Sorry, guys, I'm catching up. There's so many messages that sometimes I'm a little bit behind. Um, Let me see what else is going on. Happy Juneteenth, guys. Will clearing cache be a temporary fix for high battery usage, Rama? I'm not sure, to be honest. Like I said, there's a lot of efforts that are going on that will address that, but we can definitely look deeper into that for sure. Okay. I don't know. You know what would be good, guys, for those that have those battery issues? Can you please shake your phone? When you shake your phone, we get a lot of anonymous data, including your device, version, system. A lot of times those variables can help us build patterns. So if you don't mind, just shake it and let us know. I have a latest iPhone, obviously, and I don't have those problems, but I know that I used to have problems like that when I had my 12 Pro, for example. So if you don't mind, please shake. And again, just let them know that you heard from Rama in the audio room that you're trying to provide information to analyze battery variables. All right. Okay, let's see. Yeah, fan-based live stream. Yeah, we still have a big roadmap in there. Um, but I take that, please. Thank you. We definitely have. We talked about multi-live streams, so you can do co-lives as well. But yeah, we know that. All right. Someone says copy remix content is hilarious. Yeah. We've been playing a little bit with AI too on content creation. Someone asked me the other day, last week I went to an AI conference, AI product conference in San Francisco. It was awesome. One of our advisors, who is an ex Meta, invited us to this conference that he was putting together. And, and I got a lot of great information because it was real product hands-on AI. It wasn't your typical AI hype conference where they talk a lot of theory, and at the end of the day, you're like, okay, how would that work? We had demos and we had a lot of stuff. And someone at the end of the conference came. I was like, okay, where do you envision AI? I was like, well, I see AI in two big groups, right? Two big pillars. One of them is at the organizational level, right? As an organization and fan base, how can we improve our output, our speed, our efficiency throughout the entire life cycle? And it goes beyond development, right? And that requires some thorough work that we actually started doing with the operations team, right? Understanding the process, making sure the process is right, and identifying within the process where AI will help us. We use AI a lot through our development process, but part of using it a lot doesn't necessarily mean that it is yielding the right results. It has to be used efficiently, standardized, and there has to be some metrics that tells you this is actually helping you to do X, Y, and Z, right? So we're definitely looking into that on the one side. And then on the other side is the product itself, right? That's a given. AI in the product, a lot of platforms out there already have AI. And to me, within the product, there's two big areas where I would love to see it implemented. One of them is in the content creation that I mentioned, and the other one is on the content insight and how we inform the creator so they can monetize better. And we're going towards that direction. It takes time. We're still a very small structure, but definitely uh, we have already AI as part of our present, but we see it more and more involved and growing within our process and within our product in the future. Okay. All right. Let's see. When Fanbase will have a cybersecurity team on board? Woo! I hope sometime soon. Believe me, I have a whole diagram of all the needs that we have as far as teams, right? Um, I wish you guys could get into my mind and my everyday of me and Isaac and the conversations that we have and what it takes to grow a company to the levels that we want to grow it. But in the meantime, we gotta be efficient. And when it comes to security, what we do is we do external audits, constant audits, and then we include security improvements within our sprints. But eventually, definitely, we definitely want to have not only security, but have a dedicated moderation. We are going to start working heavily on our algorithm, and eventually, we're going to be building an algorithm team as well. So lots of work to get done. So my answer to that question, when we will have it, I'm not sure. I hope as soon as possible, which means that we're doing really well. Floppy floppy, yep. Bringing music to a monetization app is going to be difficult and expensive. Amen with that. So we actually we've done a lot of work on um, blanket licenses for music streaming, right? So if you go on live and you put music, or if you go here in audio when you put music, we're covered under that. It has its costs, but we're able to do that. While I agree it's costly, that's one of the reasons why we don't do it yet. I definitely see music as a big part of fan base as well. So we're finding ways. That's all I can say. All right, let's see. The room chat limit needs to be extended. The current text space is too short to express full thoughts. Okay, got it. Please, if you don't mind, maybe you already did it. Take your phone and share that. Please not only contact us if you have an issue, also share your ideas. Tech support has been automating a lot of the pipelines that we have in tech support. So once a month, we are able to review ideas and feedback from users beyond issues, right? So that's a great way to help us centralize all that feedback because it's super useful. All right. Yeah, being able to save the chat. Well, we're definitely we having the roadmap to be able to save audio rooms as well. So Rama, please take Fanbase to work with you one day, full day. Sorry, not sure what that meant, Danny Marie. All right, let's see what else, guys. Great questions, great feedback. Will there be any jobs to check and report fake phishing accounts? Yes. Right now, again, I just ask you to report it, and we are building patterns and doing some automation around that. That's part of my desire of eventually having a more robust moderations team that can build automation on that. But in the meantime, if you see something, please report it. That goes into our moderation queue, and then we act on that. All right, let's see what else. Thank you, guys. Messages shouldn't disappear. They're part of memories we create on families. I like that concept. It is true. I've had a lot of really great chat rooms in audio rooms. Maybe, listen, we'll do a compromise here. Okay. What we'll do is we are going to be working with um, being able to record audio rooms and being able to create content out of that. That I promise. But what I will promise also is that we will consider if there are ways that we can also make that chat and what happens inside the chat be part of that. All right. How does that sound? Can't promise anything, but I'll definitely promise you that now it's in my mind. And when we start refining that, I'll bring it up. Oh, give us a full day behind the scenes so people can see what a typical day looks like. Ooh, I like that. The thing is, like, I tell you, I would love to do that. I'm going to do it. And then the day starts. And when I realize it's 7 p.m., and I'm like, oh my God, where did the day go? But I love that idea. Let me think. It probably has to be a day where I'm like meeting with everyone. If you ask about my week is dealing with product development, also with leadership, product marketing, product operations, finance, Isaac. Definitely. Let me figure that one out because I think it will be good. Maybe I can bring Andy into it and say, Andy, help me. I want to do that. A week or a day into Fanbase. Let me give you 100 laps for that. I like that idea. All right. I have sent in hundreds of tickets reporting scammers and hackers. All right. Well, thank you for that. I'll follow up and see if we were able to build any patterns for that. I appreciate it. The Rasco, I have not skipped RTMP. I did say that we're having it in the roadmap, but it's not coming for sure this year. So that's the latest and greatest that I can give you. Okay, I'll look into that, Amira. Thanks for that. All right, let's see what else. Someone says, what about subscription tiers? So we do have subscription tiers. It's manual right now, and we're exploring how we can bring that to your hands and go beyond that. So that's still on the table. Okay. All right. Yep. Silver Fox is right. Make sure you share your fan-based profile on other platforms. Sharing is the right way. It has been proven with data and with money, with real money, that if you have a linked aggregator, or even if it's in your Instagram or TikTok profile, if you put your fan-based profile, your fan-based content in there, you have a much bigger chance of successfully monetizing in Fanbase. We have some creators that they have Linktree and they put their Fanbase profile there. We have some creators, they have their TikTok and they put their Fanbase profile in their thing. And we actually work as a downstream platform because a lot of you, some of you might, but a lot of you are not monetizing in other platforms. And you probably have a larger following than Fanbase. In Fanbase, you can make money from day one. And I think you sharing and giving visibility to your user base and beyond in other platforms about Fanbase and your profile will definitely help you grow a community as well. All right. All right. Live stream of Rama Day at Fanbase. That would be a long live stream. You guys might get bored at times because I'm in front of my computer just typing. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe we'll do like a set of things. Maybe we can do a set of small live streams throughout the day, and then we'll save, because all the live streams you can save them, which is great, and then they turn into content, and we can create content and clips out of that and build a full day of Rama and Family. What do you think about that? All right. All right, guys, this has been awesome. A lot of questions and comments. I hope I didn't forget anyone. I always try to answer all the questions that you might have. But if I missed, just let me know. But again, we're gonna have another chance next Thursday and the Thursday after, and so on. All right. Let's do a brief recap of what we discussed today. We talked about a lot of things. I mentioned that we just finished yesterday Sprint 120. Sprints are 2-week development cycles. And that means that when we finish a sprint, we have a release. The release for the backend is already out and about. And then the app releases are not out yet because we're waiting on our friend Google to approve it. So probably by Monday, you will have the newest version for Fanbase app, which is going to be 4.6 for both Android and iOS. Just like we finish a sprint, we start a new one. We started 121 today. We had our kickoff this morning. And as we are achieving our backlog and bug fixing goals of having 70% fixed since the start of this quarter, we are starting to work on new or improved functionality. We are improving notifications. We're doing a view refactor there. We are also simplifying the way, or improving as well, the way you search for users and eventually content, the home feed, how you consume and how you navigate through the home feed as well. And then how you create content inside Fanbase. I'm super excited about that because there's going to be a lot of improvements in that content creation across all layers. So we talked a little bit about that. We have a lot of great comments and questions, feedback, ideas. This is what this audio room is about. I always mention, besides sharing those with me, which I appreciate, I always try to write them down. If you have an idea, if you have an issue, take your phone, share with the tech support team, and the team will share and triage that to the respective teams. But I can promise you this one thing that we're doing is that we're always listening to everyone, and we're also gathering data to make decisions as well. Okay. And with that said, that's all we have for today. Next Thursday, I am going to be doing a watch party. I'm going to try to see if I can bring our new product marketing manager into our watch party, but if not, I'll be there still. And it's going to be a fun one. So make sure you invite other ones and to make it for next Thursday. I'm going to do a last um review of the chat room and see if there's any other questions. Somebody should consider integrating gray as a withdrawal method for Africans if possible. Yeah, we actually we've been getting a lot of feedback from countries in Africa about not being able to use PayPal and so on. So we're writing down and we're figuring it out. What I always tell everyone is at this stage where we are, but first of all, our number one goal is to pay as many people as we can. That's what we get up every day. We say, how can we do everything so we have all these creators in Fanbase making money? So if you are a creator that you are in a region that does not support PayPal, or you are outside the US, Australia, or UK, where we actually have a bank account and debit card integration, please let the support team know, and we'll find, even if it's manual ways to pay you, and even if it's something that might cost a little bit to Fanbase, because that's the aha moment for us. When you get paid and you have money in your account, just by creating content, making comments, coming to this chat room and making things, that's what Fanbase is about. So we want to make that happen, even if that means for us to make a little bit more effort, all right? But in the meantime, we'll definitely consider other ways to make this more scalable for sure. All right. Let me see. What else? What else? So yeah, don't worry. We'll recap a lot of things next Thursday. So there's always going to be a time. That's what I like about watch parties. When we do watch parties, I actually can bring the recording as a Fanbase Plus, and those that missed it can actually catch up. So sorry about that. All right, what else? What else we have here? Let's see. Is there a chance for Twitch links in audio rooms? There is a chance. We definitely want to continue the integrations in audio rooms. What else? What else we go? Let me see. Will you ever create a marketplace for Fanbase? Yes, Bernie, I would love to. We have it as a roadmap. In fact, when I went to San Francisco, I met with some ex Meta people who used to drive commerce, and we're exploring, we're learning from mistakes, and we're trying to figure out the best way. But there's a lot of ideation and planning that goes beyond development that is happening and will happen from now until the end of the year. But marketplace is definitely a desire in our roadmap for sure. All right, let me see what else we have. We want a marketplace. I hear you. All right. Username tagging in the chat. We definitely want to bring a lot of. We brought down a lot of things that we want to do in the chat room. So, and it's again, a lot of times it's not how hard it is. It's just we gotta choose priorities, right? And right now our focus is retention and foundational. And I'm very confident that by the end of this year we're going to be in a better and in a much um, solid place where we can actually start digging deeper into each one of these features and bring more. All right. All right, guys, it's 5:59, about to be 6 p.m. I want to say thank you so much. If you are a existing Fanbase user, you rock. We really appreciate you. For those that have been with us since day one, you mean a lot to us. And for those that are also investors, I want to say thank you for allowing us to be here and do what we do and do what we love, right? We're an imperfect yet ever improving group of folks that we're comfortable being underdogs, but we're coming. And once they see us, there's no way back. So I'm very happy with the progress we've been making and the direction that we're going. And if you're a new user, welcome to Fanbase. Please rely on all the other audio rooms and the ambassadors and existing users to help you throughout the platform. We have a lot of great educational content on how to use Fanbase if you go to learn.fanbase.app as well. And please join this audio room every Thursday at 5 p.m. or even our Tuesday town hall where Isaac and I talk about the race and what we're doing at the company level. But we're always here to help you become part of the community. And at the end of the day, make money because what you say, what you do, the time that you spend on the content has value. Never forget that. All right. With that said, I want to say thank you so much, and we'll be talking and seeing each other because I'm going to do a watch party next Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a great rest of the week, guys. Take care. Bye bye.
Happy Thursday. Another Rama Thursday Tech, June 19th, 2025. Signing out.